Hi, I'm James from James Does Things, and in today's video I want to talk about things that I've been selling on eBay, mostly from the shelves behind me. I've been selling my own stuff and I want to show you how much I made and what things sold, and tell you about what sold well, what didn't sell well, things like that. Okay, so on with the selling. So probably one of the best things I sold this month was the Nintendo Switch. So this was our console. We already had an Xbox, and whilst we did play it, we didn't really play it enough to justify keeping it, so we decided we would sell it. But because I knew it was the second one, and also because it's an expensive bit of kit, I always keep the boxes for my consoles or any expensive kit. So if you see just here, that's the Xbox console that we've got. And I'm keeping that box because I know one day we'll either get an upgrade or we'll get rid of it. So I kept the box, I kept it in good condition, I kept it in a case. So when it left the house, it was in a case, and when it wasn't in the house, it was all wrapped up from the dust, or it was in the docking station getting charged. So I kept it in good nick, and I tried to buy all the games for it on cartridge. So yeah, pro tip, sell the games separately. If I sold the Switch, I think I might have sold one game with it. I think I sold it with Mario Kart because it's one of the most popular games, and I thought I might have had trouble selling it. In hindsight, I don't think I would have had any trouble selling it, but I decided to sell it with a game, and I sold it with lots of joypads as well because we bought some extra controllers. So it was a good bundle, and I priced it to sell, but I got £225 for it, so it was a good deal. That sold within about 3 days, and it got a lot of views and lots of watches before it sold. So games consoles, I know like everyone loves consoles, but the Nintendo, I mean, it's not even the newest version, it's the older version, but people love them. I think it also helped that the Mario movie was still in the cinemas. It might have been like the tail end of that being in the cinema, but it was still in the cinemas. So because I sold the games separately, I think I had 3 Mario games that went on sale on the same day, and they all sold. One of them sold within 20 minutes, the others sold later that day. But literally all 3 Mario games sold on the same day, so that's the next item. Just the games, I think buying games and cartridges is such a good thing to do. It's so beneficial. I know it's very easy, it's very convenient buying things as a digital download, but if like me, you know you're probably going to sell them in the future, hands down, it's excellent. So I don't think I lost any money on any of those games. Maybe I lost £3 or £4, and obviously with the fees, but because I bought most of those games secondhand, off eBay or off from the exchange shop in town, I probably had those games for months and months and months, and they probably cost me £4 or £5 in total because I sold them for nearly as much as I bought them for. So all 3 of those games, those Nintendo Switch games, so we had Mario Odyssey, Mario 3D something, and Bowser's Fury, and then the old school 2D style Mario. All 3 of those went on the same day, and they all went for £30. I also had it's like the last Pokemon game. It's not the newest one, the one before that. So it's Pokemon, I think it was Arceus. That also sold for £30. That took nearly a week to sell, which isn't bad given that it was £30 and it's not even the newest version. So that went very quickly as well. And then I actually forgot about one of the games. It was Nintendo. It was Cruising Blast. That again, once I put that on sale, I didn't sell that until last week, but as soon as it went on sale, it got a lot of views very quickly, and then it went within, I think, about 3 or 4 days. So, and that's quite a niche game, and I actually made a profit on that game. I only bought it for 26, 27 new, and I sold it for 30 again. So, okay, the next item was a Ninja ice cream maker. Now, this is a bit of a strange one. Essentially, again, it's our stuff. It's kitchen gadgets. I think they always sell well, and especially branded ones. So this wasn't when we were looking at these to buy. You can get lots of no-name ones off Amazon, and in the end we went, no, we've had Ninja stuff before. I think we've got a Ninja blender or food processor, whatever you want to call it. So we went for the ice cream maker, and it did what it said on the tin, but it didn't do it. We bought it to make diabetic ice cream, and it doesn't. Basically, the ingredients don't work. If you put non-sugar in when you're supposed to put sugar in, you just don't get the right answer out. So we weren't happy with the results with it, but it is a well-built bit of kit. So again, we kept the box, kept all the packaging, took good photos. My wife took some really good photos. She even made some more ice cream and took pictures of it, and we got good money for that. We didn't get obviously as much as we paid, but we still got probably, I think we got 125 for that. We certainly got well over the kind of the going rate. Other people were selling them for less than 100, and we did really well with that. So yeah, kitchen gadgets. It was a bit niche and it was heavy. We didn't want to post it, and someone actually came all the way from London, which is from where they were, it's a good hour's drive to get here to buy that. So yeah, we were really pleased. Okay, the next item, going back to the gaming thing, was a Xbox One controller. So it was a wireless controller. I actually made a video about this a while ago, in terms of how to go about selling things, potentially even when they were broken. So I didn't get as much for this controller as I wanted. I thought I would get upwards of £10 and I only got £6.20. To be fair, it did have stick drift, which is the condition where basically if you just leave the controller on its own and then you turn the game on, it thinks you're turning left or you're turning right. So there's something, essentially it wasn't quite spares and repair. I put it as used, but I put stick drift, which most people who buy things know that that's an issue. And it is a fixable issue. However, I decided I wasn't going to try and fix it, given my record for not really fixing things very well. So yeah, that one didn't do as well as I'd hoped, because those controllers go, like, when they work, even second hand, they still go for like £35. And the CEX, the Games Exchange in my local high street, sells second-hand wireless Xbox controllers for like usually about £5 less than the game down the road sells brand new ones. So basically they sell really well. This was an aftermarket one, but it was basically an exact copy of an official Xbox one. So yeah, a bit of a shame that we only got £6 for it, but it was plus postage. But again, it's better than nothing. It's better than, you know, for the time it took me to take the pictures and list it, then it was worth it. So yeah, but lesson learned. I think in hindsight, I would probably have stuck it on for maybe 10 or 12 as a buy it now. But I was keen to get some cash, so I just put it in. I was a bit cocky, and I thought I'd get more for it. Okay, so the next thing was my Pokemon card collection. If you've seen any of my other videos, I'll put a link to them down below in the description. But essentially, last year I started a card business, basically a trading card business. So Pokemon cards, Magic the Gathering cards, things like that. So I've still got lots of the boxes here. And what I did was I filled boxes like this, but I tried to break up the collection, sort of split it evenly, so and put a mixture of high value and low value cards in. And I was hoping for around £30 a box for each one. And as soon as I put them on sale, I put some on sales by now, some on as auction. Everything that I put on for £30 with any kind of offer enabled on it, I was getting lowballed left, right and centre. I was getting offers of £10, £10. So the ones that I did sell, I got a lot less, after getting lowballed so often, and I sort of took the hint that £30 was probably a bit optimistic, so I put some on at 99p, because I did have lots of these boxes. And eventually, I think 3 of them sold. Just check, was it 2 or was it 3? Not sure. Several of them sold. Several of them didn't. They were the ones that they were still at £30. And I didn't get anything like what I wanted. It was all around the sort of £10 and above mark rather than the £20 to £30. So that was quite disappointing. I did, however, find another outlet when I went to car boot sale for my Pokemon cards, so I'm not going to be doing any more of those boxes. I think I had 9 boxes prepared. I had 3 which were Japanese Pokemon cards, and then another 6 which were English language Pokemon cards of a range of values. And essentially now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bundle up all of the lower value cards, which are these ones, which are sort of just a plain, not so shiny cards, and I'm going to dump these at an auction and see what I get for them. And I'm going to keep the slightly higher value cards and try and sell them at markets, because we did quite well this week, but that's for another video. So yeah, the Pokemon cards didn't do as well as I wanted. I was quite disappointed with that, and I was just getting lowballed left, right and centre. So I think if I'd left them, perhaps again as a bite now, I might have got £20 for them, but I found another way of I think potentially making a lot more profit from them. So I'm going to hang on to the rest of those now. Okay, so one of the things that did sell well this month was the higher value Pokemon cards. So these are your kind of promotional cards. So I had a promotional Japanese card with Pikachu on it. It's generally the cards with the kind of more famous and well-known characters, and they're usually particularly desirable. So Pikachu, Charizard, sometimes Blastoise, and some like Umbreon, Leafeon, that kind of thing. So yeah, so I sold, I think, several of my Charizard cards for between £5 and £10 each. I had quite a few lowball offers on those, but I stuck to my guns for most of them. So, and yeah, and then I had several of these Japanese Pokemon Pikachu cards, which were rare promotional ones, which were, I think I bought them for £17 each a few months ago, and I managed to sell them for around that much. So yeah, so that was good. That was a good. Okay, so the next thing to talk about is the Magic the Gathering cards. So again, this was a bit different because it was Secret Lair cards. So essentially, if you've not come across Secret Lair before, it's Magic the Gathering cards, but they're not really meant to be played with. I don't even think they're kind of technically legal cards. So Magic the Gathering is a trading card game like Pokemon. I think it's probably the original one. Don't quote me on that, it might not be. But it's got a different player base really to Pokemon. Pokemon is for younger children, and it's more about, people do play competitively, but it's more about the collecting. Whereas Magic the Gathering is more about the playing, and essentially there's been a lot of talk in the news because Magic the Gathering is owned by Wizards of the Coast, that was created by them, who are now owned by Hasbro, who make, they own, it's like a giant monopoly for everything gaming, so they own all sorts of things. If you look up Hasbro, literally own like Atari, I think, and computer games, but they also own, like, I think they own Monopoly, and anyway, you name it, they own it board game wise. So essentially they made these kind of series of very limited edition collectible cards that aren't really made to be played with. Essentially they're more for collectors, which a lot of the player base of Magic the Gathering don't actually like. So I bought a lot of these on a whim around, I think, end of last year, thinking, oh yeah, these will go up in value, no problem. And to be honest, they haven't really. I managed to sell one lot of them for kind of what I bought it for, but they're essentially, this pack here was for all these packets were £40, and I bought several of them. And because it's so niche, it's like a niche within a niche, and a lot of the people in that particular niche object to it at a kind of a, like, on principle, they don't like it because they see it as a money grab. Whereas I see it as, I do actually like the collectible side of it. So they do tie-ins with other things like Dungeons and Dragons. This one is a Transformers one, even though it doesn't have any Transformers. And I got this one graded, which was a complete waste of time, which is another story. But essentially, I managed to get £40 for this kind of sealed pack of cards, which I've never actually seen. So this is another one. So you just get like a white packet, and inside there are 4 or 5 cards. I was hoping for more money. Honestly, I was hoping for more like 50, at least a little bit of profit, take care of the fees. So, but I didn't get anything close. But I did get some cash for it, and it's not something I'm emotionally attached to. It's the kind of thing. What frustrates me about it is that it's the kind of thing that I would, if I had money to invest. So at the moment I'm in this sort of phase of getting rid of my stuff to clear debt, so that I can go on and then start investing. Using the same things, the same process I'm using to get rid of my debt, then I'll be able to invest. This is a kind of a line of things that I would invest in. Sort of, I really like collectibles, and I think I like getting limited edition collectibles and holding on to them. And that's, if I had money to invest, I would get stocks and shares and that kind of thing. But I would invest in collectibles as well. Magic the Gathering, Warhammer, Lego, Pokemon cards, you name it. I really like the idea of sort of alternative investing, and there are lots of other people on the internet who do it and talk about it. So yeah, it was kind of frustrating that it had so little interest, but that's the way it is. Maybe it was a kind of a flawed thing to pick. So okay, so the next thing to talk about is computer components. So this is actually a stick of RAM in there, and the reason I got this in a bag is because probably over a year now, yeah, probably about 2 or 3 years ago, my mother-in-law gave me her computer and said, please can you sell this? You know, you can keep the money, it's taking up space and we're emigrating. So I was like, yeah, fine, no problems. The computer components I thought would do better than they did. I was a bit disappointed. Again, I put them on for 99p thinking they'd be a lot more interested in them, but they were, to be fair, they are old. It's all at least 10 years old, these components, so they're a bit niche. The graphics card did sell for all right money. That sold for, I think it was £6 or £7 plus postage, so there was quite a bit of interest in that. The RAM I still haven't managed to sell. I've tried to sell it twice for literally £1. Nobody's interested. There's kind of 3 gigabytes of RAM, I think. The motherboard, I had seen other people successfully sell the motherboard and the CPU, possibly with the RAM attached, I'm not sure, but the people had sold it for £20, so I was expecting that kind of money, and I think literally I sold it for £1. So yeah, I was a little bit gutted about that, but in fairness, other than taking it out of the computer, I didn't bother to clean it properly because I didn't really have the right sort of equipment. Okay, something else that sold quite well is actually packaging that I bought for my business when I had my card business, namely do not bend envelopes. So these little ones that are about, you know, just perfect for sending a Pokemon card in. The actual top loaders, which are for protecting valuable Pokemon cards, but also these bags. I bought. I think the last time I took a computer apart, my own computer, I wanted a bag that was big enough to get the motherboard in, and you could only buy them in 20s. So I bought a load and decided, well, I'll just try selling the rest of these. And people buy them. People buy them in singles. They buy it, and I sold them 3 at a time. But I was selling them at kind of, by the time I'd sold 5, I paid for the 20 that I bought. So I'll be honest, I think with all of these things, it's difficult if you haven't got the cash to buy them in massive bulk, and I do mean like a pallet, then you're going to struggle to compete with most of the people selling them on eBay. And selling them like this in kind of singles, or, you know, in between like 1 and 25 pieces, yes, you can put a big markup on them, but in reality the eBay fees are so high, and that, you know, and things like postage, that you're only making like, I think for the bags I was making like 20 or 30 pence per sale when people bought one. And then there were kind of sweet spots where if someone bought 3, like if someone bought 5 of these, that was great because it would go as a letter, and that was fine. But then if they bought like 15 or 20, it was too heavy to be a large letter, and it actually ended up being quite expensive, and it was like break even when someone bought them. So it's not really like, I've got them, so I've kept them on sale like that. But if I need the kind of space in my account to sell more things, I would ditch these straight away, and I definitely wouldn't buy any more, because it's not worth it from a kind of a pounds per hour point of view. I literally could just do nothing and sort of save myself the bother, or just sell them all off in one go, which I may yet do. So yeah, so they were, that was the other sort of thing that I'd sold. I didn't make a huge amount of money doing that, but I did make quite a lot of sales doing that. As always, if you found this useful, please leave me a like, because it really helps my channel out. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so yeah, that would really help me. And if you've got any questions, please, as always, just leave me a comment, and I'll reply to all of them eventually. Sometimes it doesn't show me when the people have commented, but I do find them eventually, so I always reply. So thanks for watching, and do check out the next video about me doing car boot sales.